Greetings, my dearest friend. You know me as the Duke, the band leader who wove the very fabric of American music, the composer who defied categories, and the orchestra builder who found a voice in every instrument. But before I was your Duke, I was merely a boy born into a rhythm, shaped by the streets of Washington, by the magic of a piano, and by a hunger for sound greater than any man before me dared to dream. Come, let me tell you the truth of it all, from cradle to stage, from harmony to legacy. This is my life. My name is Edward Kennedy Ellington, and this is my life, as I lived it. The son of the sound. I was born on the 29th of April, 1899, in Washington, D.C. My parents, James and Daisy, provided a comfortable, loving home. They saw their son as royalty, hence the nickname that would stick, Duke. My birth was met not with silent disappointment, but with the quiet hum of a city brimming with possibility. A city where ragtime syncopations drifted from parlor windows. My mother, elegant and refined, had hoped for a gentleman. When I failed to settle for anything less than a life steeped in music, my path was sealed. I was not yet 10 when I first touched a piano, feeling its vibrations under my fingers. From that moment, I became a student of the keys, a boy drawn into a perilous world of evolving sounds. But I remembered their unwavering belief, their fierce pride. I would carry them with me all my life. The apprenticeship of a maestro. If I could not be a scholar of books, I would be a scholar of sound. My ears and my ambition saw to it that I was educated like no other musician of my time. I devoured ragtime rhythms, learned stride piano, and studied the unique voices of every instrument. I listened to opera, to blues, to spirituals. I wrote my first compositions, feeling the notes assemble themselves in my mind. Arthur Wetzel, my childhood friend and future bandmate, said I had music in my bones. I understood early that sound was my armor. While others merely played notes, I sought stories. For in a world where music was merely entertainment, I would make it art. The Trials of Harlem Nights. My early 20s were spent honing my craft, first in D.C., then in the household of Harlem's vibrant, competitive music scene. After struggling to find our footing, my small band, the Washingtonians, took a leap of faith. We arrived in New York, a city that promised glory but often delivered grit. I would spend long nights in clubs, listening, observing, absorbing every nuance. Though I was only in my 20s, I sensed something vital, something raw in the burgeoning jazz. When opportunities were scarce, I learned to hustle, to charm, to persist. The interrogations from club owners during our lean times nearly broke me. From that ordeal, I learned to trust my own sound, to speak through my music, and to guard my integrity as I would a composition. Cotton Club, Catalyst, King. When the Cotton Club offered us a residency in 1927, it was not merely a gig, it was a coronation. The spotlight shone on us, first locally, then nationally, thanks to radio broadcasts. The crown passed from obscure Harlem clubs to the grand stage. As the hot lights touched my face, the demands of celebrity pressed upon me. I was a black man in a segregated world, the leader of a band that was forging a new American sound, often for white audiences. The first thing I did, I infused our music with texture and nuance. I developed the jungle sound, utilizing growls and mutes, creating an exotic atmosphere while always pushing the boundaries of harmony. I called it the Ellington effect, not compromise, but creation. Every day, they asked me to simplify, but I would not be defined by any genre, not swing, not blues, not even jazz. The orchestra is my instrument. Oh, how they defined me! The Cotton Club King, the master of dance music, the popularizer of jazz, they all missed the point. Why? Because my true instrument was already formed my orchestra. That is not to say I did not have personal relationships. My band members, like Johnny Hodges, Cootie Williams, and Harry Carney, were my closest companions and collaborators. Their individual voices were the colors on my palette. To simplify my music would be to lose its power, to make my art a mere commodity, and so I remained the constant innovator, more composer than conductor, more vision than vibe. The unmarried composer. If I had a mirror across the ocean, it was the classical composers of Europe. Traditionalists, critics, purists, they claimed jazz was fleeting, entertainment, not art. When the opportunity arose to create longer works, concert pieces, I seized it. But this brought with it conspiracies from those who wanted me to stick to 3-minute dance numbers. For decades, I kept pushing. And then came Black, Brown, and Beige. A monumental work, plans revealed me attempt to chronicle the history of the American Negro through music. With great effort, I premiered it at Carnegie Hall. I wept. It had been a struggle, and it had been kin to my soul. But the music came first. The world is our stage. The great test of my mid-career came with the extensive touring of the 1930s and 40s. The world called for use, Europe, Asia, everywhere to witness the mighty sound of American jazz. They said the language barrier would be insurmountable. But I stood before audiences across continents and gave them sounds they would never forget. I merely place my individual musicians in a setting, and they play the melody as it comes to them. I do not have a written-down interpretation. The audiences favored us. Our music resonated. America triumphed in a new way. And so did I. The Age of Duke, a symphony of influence. After the global tours, my legend grew. They called it the Ellington Age, a time of unparalleled musical innovation, sophisticated composition, and global ambassadorship. Billy Strayhorn, my brilliant collaborator, wrote compositions that captured the nuanced soul of our orchestra. Louis Armstrong circled the globe too. My sound became the envy of the world, a place of elegance, wit, and fierce originality. Yet, I was often alone. My life was filled with audiences and accolades, but few true quiet moments. I aged, my body tired, but my mind never ceased composing. I was not merely a musician. I was an idea.
Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington, tonight for the first time in 30 years, worked together in a number from their Roulette album, Duke's Place. So let's have a tremendous hand for Satchmo, Duke and the Boy.
Baby, take me down to Duke's Place. Wildest spot in town is Duke's Place.
The end of an era, the echo of a genius. In the final years, I buried those dearest to me. Billy Strayhorn died. My longtime saxophonist Johnny Hodges passed. My body weakened, though my will to create did not. I toured the world, sleepless, haunted by new melodies. The vibrant energy of youth had faded, replaced by whispers of the past and shadows of new frontiers. On May 24th, 1974, I lay still. I had composed and performed for over 50 years. I had brought dignity, complexity, and joy to jazz. And when I died, I passed the baton to a generation of musicians who would carry my sound forward, unifying the threads of American music at last. The immortal sound. They buried me in Woodlawn Cemetery, New York, surrounded by my family and friends. How strange that I, so devoted to sound in life, should lie in silence in death. But I left behind something greater than Notessa musical universe transformed. I was not born to simply play music. I was not born to survive the shifting trends, but I did both. I was Edward Kennedy Ellington. I was your Duke. And that's another chapter from the pages of history, proof that the past is filled with legends, leaders, and visionaries who shaped the world we live in today. But history is far from over. There are still so many incredible stories to uncover. So if you enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to History's Icons for more legendary tales. Who or what should we explore next? Let me know in the comments your idea might be the next great story we bring to life. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next episode of History's Icons where the past comes to life.